And just real quick, I want to shout out if anybody makes it to the end of this video, I want to shout out my boy Sket Brock, and I want to shout out E&T Collectibles free Super Bottomless tournament coming up the weekend after this weekend. So try to get in that server. Anybody out there that wants to play for a free super rare bottomless strap bowl.
All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with Big James, who is known for creating the Crystal Seer Diva Hero Beat deck. He took the Divas out, put in Crystal Seers, took out the Spine Gilmans, and he's had success with that deck in the past. And I thought it was really interesting, and we played it on the channel before. And now he actually just went, what was it, 10-2 at RBET recently?
It was 8-2.
8-2, sorry, 8-2 at the last RBET, and he played this version of Frogs that I've never seen before. There's a lot of things that you did in this build that is very unique, so I definitely want to talk about it. You ran a gauntlet in that tournament. First of all, playing 10 rounds and going 8-2, that's a topping record in like most tournaments. Like in 90% of tournaments, that is a actual topping record. Like if you're in a Konami event, you go 8-2 in a 10-round tournament, you're probably going to be in top 32 realistically. So,
yeah, I was a little disappointed that I didn't reach top 8. I was one round short of it basically. I got 10th on the final standings.
Yeah, you are right there. You actually end up losing to my teammate MB96, who was playing Christia Swirl, which is a terrible matchup for Frogs. Frogs hate that fucking deck. So I empathize with you. It got awkward because I was rooting for you as I was watching it, since your bracket line was the only line that was still playing. Everyone else was in top 8 already. And then there was the line that included you and 10-foot and NB. So I was watching that with OG, and I was rooting for you because you're playing Frogs and the build looked really cool. At the time, I thought you were playing like triple pot of Avarice because I saw you resolve it so often. But I just thought, I was like, man, his deck is so interesting because it's playing things like Gale and Plague Spreader, and you never ever see those cards play in Frogs. Like literally, I've seen hundreds of Frog decks now, and I have yet to really see one, especially Gale. So this is just like really unique, some of the things that you chose to do with this build. And I was wondering where you came up with the inspiration, or like what made you want to play this build. Like how long did you test this out or whatever before the actual tournament, because it performed well. So I'm just wondering what went into it.
Yeah, so I had started testing this heavy like a week and a half before the RBT. I actually didn't know the RBT was happening until the night before. A friend told me. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I may as well enter. But as far as like how the deck was, I basically just started with a more standard list with, you know, it was 3 econs, two or three soul exchange, I think I started with. But basically I got to a point where I realized like there's so many games where hand size is like kind of a deal in this deck, and you're kind of like discarding cards, or you're forced to set an econ, which can just get dicey.
Yeah, I hate that so much.
Yeah, and your plays are also, you know, because this doesn't play the miracles, your plays are often limited to just the normal summon. But with stuff like Gale, because Gale can be an extender if you creature swap Econ, BrainCon, or Goyo a Blackwing. And then Plague, of course, can just be an extender at any time once you get it engraved, or at least turn your Monarch into an upgrade. And those cards, you know, you don't really have to worry about them with hand size. Same way with Dandelion, like you can either discard them or set them. Like you don't have to clog up your back row or anything.
Right.
So, and then the Foolish just kind of went with the Plague and the Dandy, and it's obviously a Treeborn if you don't open a Frog. Yeah, and that was just kind of, and then, you know, I guess the Trag, I should mention the Trag too. I just wanted to test it because I was just going over in my head. My turn one, so many games is either sub swap pass or swap pass. And early game, you know, like Trag is so live. One of the early rounds, I kid you not, I used Junk to summon swap, and swap bounced the Junk like 7 times in the same game.
That is my favorite play in Frogs, by the way. I absolutely love using Junk Synchron to bounce swap. It makes me feel so powerful for some reason.
Yeah, it's so good. And I had a Trag when I was doing it, so I was just loading up my hand very slowly with chump blocking with the Treeborn and the swap. And I eventually did drop the Trag. And once you drop the Trag, I mean, Trag with the tuners, you know, you can pretty much make anything in your extra deck.
And steal a lot of the time, which you do have a good assortment of levels in this deck as well. Everything but level 4 basically is available. So this is really, really cool. I really like the Trag in this kind of build. So I played a long time ago, last year, when I first started playing Frogs, I actually played a standard Frog Monarch deck. And in that deck, I played Trag, Triple Battle Fader, and then it was like 2 Destalos. I think I mained 1 Vanity's Fiend and like the Junk Synchrons. It's basically like this kind of deck, but it was, now I would consider it to be very archaic in the way it was built because it was so streamlined on basically doing one thing. The only trick I really had was junk synchron. That was the only trick. Whereas your build,
Right.
I feel like with the pot, the creature swap, the gale, the plague, the dandelion, the discard traps, like I'm pretty sure I was playing just treacherous trap hole back then. So it's very primitive compared to like this build is all teched out. I like the foolish burial. I think it makes sense with the dandelion, but also with the plague spreader zombie giving you access to level 8 on demand, or just like worst case scenario, you could just use it as tribute fodder if it really got like, you know, that bad because they maybe soul released you or DD crowed you or did something like that. You just need something instantly, right? Like you need something that you can tribute right now. And that could actually be a real thing.
Yeah, it has a lot of, it has more applications than I even thought. I mean, on a rated game, I took a Dark Arm Dragon and I wanted one more pop, so I just foolish to dark.
And this deck does play a lot of darks. I mean, that's one of the cool things about this build too, is that you do a lot of stealing. And if you do take a Dark Arm and it's not with creature swap, so you technically would have to give it back. And you don't have a problem with getting rid of their field and the Dark Arm too. You have enough darks to do all of it usually.
Yeah, usually I have at least one or two like minimum darks when I take the dad, so it's definitely a liability when they leave dad on the field.
Did anything underperform? Did anything overperform?
I would say the overperformers was by far Trag and I would say Gale. And then the underperformers were the Rises, and that's which I knew they kind of would be like in time. Like I play against two Blackwings, and when they have like Whirlwind in rotation and you just have a Ryza, you're like, I mean, yeah, you can send the Whirlwind back, or like, you know, like they'll usually have like Whirlwind, Shura, Kalu, and there's just not anything great to, yeah, there's nothing good to Ryza there.
Yep.
So he was probably the underperformer. But I kind of knew that going in.
Is that something that you feel like you would change, or would you still keep the full play set of Rises?
Yeah, I think I gotta keep them. I really, what I really want to do is play 3 junk, but that's just too wild because he is not as guaranteed live early game.
Right.
Because, you know, with just Treeborn, he's not that great.
Correct. I have had many hands where he kind of sucks. He's really broken if you open 1/1 and a monster that he can resurrect. And that's like his extremely crazy turn 1 play. You foolish burial. You could foolish burial something, and then you could do like 1/1 stuff there, like foolish burial in your case, dandelion, and then you could just go crazy with 1/1. But also just like 1/1 discard battle fader, for example, summon junk synchron, bring back battle fader, substitute, tribute off, get swap, bounce the junk synchron back to your hand, and just go crazy that way. So I do like double junk synchron. It makes sense. But I also agree with you that in the early game, he is usually not as good as just a monarch when you just want to get to the point where your opponent slows down, and monarchs are really good at that. So I totally get why you're like, I'm not going to go full on junk, because at that point it would just be like a junk frog deck. But is there any consideration for Light Darkness Dragon? That card's been getting very popular lately. I even made an apology video to it recently.
I do like the card. I did side the one there. Yep. And I just think with frogs, and then of course Light Sworns, I didn't want to main it because of that. And I obviously I did play against both those decks, of course. But it's still a good card for sure.
What about the swap frogs? You know, some people now play 2 swap frogs in certain decks, but you're playing
I've seen that. I need to open up Treeborn. Like swap's just too good.
Yeah, I love 3 swap frog personally. I understand why people play 2 of it, because some of the bad hands, and speaking from Hero Frog's perspective, some of the bad hands are just the hands where you just have too many frogs, and I get it. But I think that for me, my original like frog hero build was dedicated to the 80% chance of opening Treeborn Frog, and from there I can play the game. So only in 1 out of like 5 games will I consider my hand to be kind of bad, because I just don't have Treeborn access, which is really good to play 80% of the time I have my Treeborn. Like, I just want to get to that 80% and play comfortably. And then Hero Frogs, the good thing about it is that it also has the Stratos as the other 3 of that it plays with Rhoda and E-Call. So it has a really low chance of bricking, but the hands that I do draw that are bad typically do involve like a shit ton of frogs, or, you know, just all tributes and no way to get Treeborn.
Yeah, it's definitely a double-edged sword, but I would rather I like give me a hand of all frogs, I guess, because at least you can draw out of that hand.
Yeah, you can absolutely draw.
The games where it takes you like 3 turns to get to a Treeborn engrave, those are the games. Yeah, those are the games where it's usually
you know
over.
what? I like that you put it that way. Like, I'd ever take a hand where I have my Treeborn access and maybe like too many frogs, as opposed to a hand where I just don't have Treeborn access and I have a bunch of cards that do nothing without Treeborn?
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, though. That's very, very good. So I was thinking that maybe a Ryza, like one Ryza could become one Lad. I could see that being a thing. Even against Lightsworn, bro, I don't know if you saw the one video I posted very recently. It was a shadow game I did, but I played against Lightsworn and Lad absolutely cooked. Like, it cooked.
You know, it may not even be bad. Like, I've never actually, I mean, that was just like my thinking.
Yeah, that's like, what I thought too.
Not even that bad.
But Ronak has been in the Edison format Discord in the Frog channel telling people like Lad really just isn't as bad as y'all think it is in scenarios that y'all think it's bad in. Like, people used to believe, and I was one of them, that Lad was bad against Vayu Turbo because like the idea that, oh, they'll just have Vayu activate over and over again. But that just never actually happens, because when are they leaving that shit in the graveyard? You know, just cause like if they're playing against frogs, they're usually trying to rush you down. There aren't many turns where they just keep passing with a Vayu and a Sirocco in graveyard with the idea that you're going to at some point summon a Lad, so they want to make sure they can out it. Like, that's not real. Like, games don't actually play out like that, and he said as much. And then when I tested it against OG, and like it doesn't happen like that. Like, they usually are trying to push your shit in, so they're going to use their Vayu, you know, so basically what ends up happening with the reality is that it ends up taking multiple of their cards away. It takes away their Raikos, their Hamsters, opposing Kai'Sas, Gales, whatever. Like, that's what really ends up happening. But in theory, I thought, just like most people, that it would be bad against Vayu, it'd be bad against Lightsworn. And then I played against these decks, and I'm like, man, it actually just low-key shut them down. Like, it makes it so awkward to play spells like Solar Recharge and stuff like that. You know, even doing things like Lumina and stuff, like, sure, that turn, like, you can just go summon Lumina, pass, and mill me down, but like, that's not a good turn for you, to be honest. Like, if that's what you're doing with your turn, like, I'm okay with that being your entire turn, and then I can still go summon swap, bounce the Light and Darkness Dragon into my hand, and like, you know, do other things from there. So I don't know. There's just like consideration. I like that Ryze is faster though. That's the thing. I like that if you go first, you go summon swap, send Treeborn. Ryze is there.
Yeah, I mean, but I see both ways. I'm definitely gonna test it in the main. I feel like you just inspired me, honestly. Yeah, just one for sure.
Yeah, just see how it is. I love this deck though. I love that you play Pot of Avarice. This is a card that is like, it just makes so much sense in Frog, probably more than any other deck in the entire format when you really think about it.
It does, yeah. Like it just does. And with the tuners, it even becomes that much better too.
Yeah.
I saw you play another thing that fills up the grave. Yeah, I did. I played it quite a bit. I was actually wondering, I'm like, I bet people do think I'm playing multiples because I'm drawing it so much.
Every time you would activate it, I'm like, oh, you just pull ahead. Like, you play, so you ran a gauntlet, you played against Ronak in the tournament, and you guys played the Frog Mirror match, obviously, because he only plays frogs, and you actually won. And you did resolve Pot of Avarice. And I just remember looking at the duel and seeing how the card advantage kept getting more and more out of hand in your favor. Like, you just kept pulling farther and farther ahead. And Pot was one of the cards that contributed to that. And I'm like, man, that card is just, it's so good in a grindy game.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, just to be able to, like, just in general, like, dupe lock them early. And then if they do, like, break through it, you're just able to dupe lock them again a lot of the times, at least soft lock.
Yep.
And it's just so good.
Yeah, most people, they break the dupe lock in the game, and that's kind of it. Like, the dupe lock is done. I dealt with it this game. It's like it's a mini game, kind of. It's like when you're playing against frogs, there's like steps that you have to get through, right? You have to get through the dupe lock. Then eventually you get to their life points. Then it's like that check for Gore's, Battle Fade, or Tragodia, whatever. Then once you get past that, you're like, okay, cool. Now I can just like rush in and hopefully win the game. But that's like the mini game of playing against frogs, is the dupe lock, but your deck can do it multiple times, which is annoying as hell. So that's really good. The other thing that I'm noticing is that you do play the new tech that's been popping up in 2024, Armed Sea Hunter, and I love this card. I think that this card is actually really cool because it does something that frogs don't really do, which is like attack a hamster and negate it. Like, people don't attack a Fossil Dino face down and negate it. It does a lot of cool things that people aren't like aware of.
That would also be a decent replacement for the third Ryza that I want to test, because I ended up putting it in the side deck just because I thought, you know, like, it felt a little bit more like a side deck card to me, even though it is so good. But I also don't have testing with it, so I didn't want to main something I didn't have too much testing with.
Yeah, it makes sense in a side deck though, only because they put in Fossil Dinos in games 2 and 3, like most decks.
Yes.
And so this guy's another out, because Ryza is not really an out unless you have specific cards with it. But this guy just raw outs Ryza. I'm sorry, not Ryza. This guy raw outs Fossil Dino. It also beats over Grepher, which I think is extremely important. It beats over Armageddonite, which is also very important. And this is a weird thing that, like, I don't know how often this would ever come up, but it can come up. You can crash this into a Vanity's Fiend, and I'm pretty sure the Vanity's Fiend is just negated forever.
It is. I believe it is. And you can also attack a Shura with no fear as well, and it will be negated forever.
Yeah, so that is, there are some interesting things.
Yeah, it's a very interesting card. GBs as well. Like if they,
yeah, that's crazy actually.
If they were to use like Waboku or something, the GB still negated forever. Yeah, this card's very interesting. Like the more I think about it, the more I like it, I think.
Yeah, I think that it has a lot more potential, and it's just starting to pop off. But
and shout out your video, by the way, because that's how I found out about it.
Yeah, well, I didn't find out about it until Stengo told me, and then we did a video with it and was like, oh, this card's kind of ignorant. So yeah, I like it. I like the fact that it has this built-in protection thing kind of going, like a little my body as a shield action. Like if it would be destroyed, you could just send a Treeborn to the grave or whatever. Yeah. So it's cool. It's something like you said. I think it just needs more testing to figure out if it's the real deal or if it's just like, okay, this is a little too niche and maybe the side deck spot could be something else, or maybe it can go into the main deck because it actually is that decent. It is a standalone card though, which I like. Like it's one of those cards that you can play the game before you need to start doing tribute summons, like in the early game. You could just summon it and attack over a guy. And that is so good. I can't express enough how much of an importance it is to attack over a Grepher turn 1 if they do that, or like any monster that they summon turn 1. You just like get it off the field, right? Like even against like Hero Beat, they summon Stratos or whatever, and you're just like, I just want to summon something and attack it and like crash. That way you just take some of the pressure away from what they're doing. In terms of extra deck, I don't think there's anything particular to talk about. I see you do play Junk Archer, but you have plenty of room because, you know, you don't really play Miracle Fusion or anything like that. So you just have all the synchros you need.
Yeah, I pretty much just got everything in there.
Did any of these cards overperform during the tournament?
Let's see. The Dark End was decent. I think I only made it once though. Thought Ruler was just really good. But I played against Machina, and I just made it because he was forced to crash into it, I guess, to get my synchro off the field. And I'm like, why not gain 25 life when,
that's so much
when he's going to do that? Yeah. And then the card I make all the time, probably an unnecessary amount of time, is Magical Android. I don't know why. I just do. And I just gain the most ridiculous amounts of life sometimes.
That's
it
amazing.
Just becomes crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. You know, another thing I saw that was happening in your duels, I would check your graveyard and I would just see Plague Spreader just chilling in your graveyard. And it reminded me
for rainy days.
Yes. It reminded me of how it feels to play against Vayu when they just have a plague in the grave and you summon a Monarch, you know that Goyo's just probably coming like right after you do that. Your deck, because it plays plague and it often has it in the graveyard, you'll just like have this impending doom of, oh god, his Monarch might turn into a level 8 synchro out of nowhere.
Yeah, it could just be a Dark End right on you out of nowhere.
Yeah, and like you said, Tragonia can copy levels, which can also become Dark End. But you just having that on-demand option of, oh, my Swap Frog now can become an Armory Arm for my guy that's already on the field. Like I might lose now because he could just turn his guy into an Armory Arm out of nowhere. Like that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, like an Armory Arm. Yeah, Armory Arm becomes way better with the plague too, of course.
Yes, it just offers you more plays. Gale was absolutely insane. So we have some replays that I want to watch, and I don't know if we probably have the one. It was against Fitz, I believe.
We do have that. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Gale went. He had a Spirit Reaper and a Fossil Dino on the field, and you went summon Gale, priority target Reaper, killed the Reaper, then attacked over the Fossil Dino, and I literally put my hands on my head and I was like, holy shit. That was
the best scale ever.
I was
thinking when he passed, I'm like, yeah, if this goes through, it's going to be the best scale ever.
Bro, and also that Reaper had taken 2 cards out of your hand that game, and you ended up coming back and it was insane. But the Gale specifically, I've never seen that played in Frogs before, and it just made so much sense because it's an out to Fossil Dyna. It's randomly an out to Spirit Reaper, even though I don't think that that's usually a necessary thing, but in that game it was. But like it's an out to Vanity's Fiend, Fossil Dyna. It's a good card to have as an extender, like you said, against Blackwings. It's an out to just like random bullshit like Armwing and Armor Master that don't have their effects or whatever from Vayu Turbo. Like it just beats so many monsters, Stardust, just everything, right? And then it also happens to be a tuner, which is really nice. And it gets under Bottomless Trap Hole. Like it does a lot of things, and I've never seen it play before, but I'm like, man, maybe more Frog decks should actually play Gale because it's just a good card. I think Gale's just one of the best cards in the format. Like it's a reason. There's
Right.
a reason it's at 1. It's not at 1 because Konami just thought like, oh, you know, we don't like Blackwings. Let's just hurt Blackwings. Like no, Gale specifically was a problem because it was at 3 in the formats prior. It was doing way too much. Like Stardust was ass for like a year because of Gale.
Yeah. Yeah, Gale was limited just because it was such a good card on its own. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced because I mean Blackwings didn't even do that well back then. They were played so underplayed back then. Like when you go back and look at the deck list, it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean Cat won Nationals the year when Gale was at 3. Like a fucking Cat deck won. So they had triple Whirlwind and triple Gale. Gale was crazy. Gale was basically that deck. Like it was literally, oh god, this is the deck that plays the triple Gale. Like I can't deal.
Yeah.
Don't make a synchro because he literally beats everything. So
he does.
But yeah, I like that you played that. So I want to explore Gale more. I definitely want to look more into this guy. Lad always, like I think Lad has a lot of potential after doing some testing. I think Lad is like really, really good right now in the format. People just don't have as many outs as we all thought they did. And Deep Prison's the most commonly played card in the format. Not even like Trap card is the most common play card in the format, and Lad just eats those for free. Like he just eats them. I'm a big fan. All right, let us transition over to the first replay. So we have 2 here. This one is against Ronak. So let's watch this one.
The Frog God himself.
Yes, you really did run a gauntlet. I was scared for you when you got to this point. I was like, oh man, your bracket is just rough. So he's playing like a really interesting build with Fishborg Blaster, and he's doing a lot of cool stuff himself. And he has the Lad here. I think he plays that card called Star Blast that like allows you to pay life points, and you could just summon Lad and stuff, and like Yamada Dragon.
Yeah, and he was playing the Spirit Monsters, the one that draws.
Yep, Yamada
and
Dragon.
the one that discards. Yeah,
Hinokagu.
He had all kinds of wild stuff. In
Yes. So he's like, I need Treeborn access. So look at this. He's in a position where, and this is what we were talking about, I'd rather have a hand with too many frogs in it than this hand that didn't have any frog access really. And you just kind of like, you'll just lose the game with a hand like this without Treeborn access. So he recognizes that I need to get that Treeborn immediately, and he crashes, which, you know, you kind of just had to leave the swap frog out here. Otherwise you're doing that awkward thing we talked about earlier about setting econ for no reason. And I hate that.
Yeah, and I knew like what he was playing, so I knew summoning it wasn't like a bad play per se.
Yeah. Look at this. I love this. Just wall up.
And then there's like the foolish, you know, once again, not being a card, like not setting the econ, not discarding the swap, just play the foolish.
He just has so much advantage right now. And like you said, the Android is just going to do Android things. Caius and a crash. So here's the second one. I like that Fishborg Blaster does that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So you make him draw a dupe frog, which is always annoying to have that happen.
Yeah, and I just made Colossal to attack through Gores.
Clean. Clean. So what was his life points at just now when you attack with Colossal?
It was 28 exactly.
So that's interesting because again, there goes that looming threat of Plague Spreader. I don't know if a regular frog that could have done what you just did. Like that's not a normal thing.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, so
they would have had yeah,
you would need something very specific like Junk Synchron making Junk Warrior with a level 2 on the field, like Swap Frog to make him 3300, stuff like that. And if you're playing Hero Frogs, obviously Miracle Fusion, but you know, they're like a regular Frog Monarch deck just cannot do what you just did. Like that's not a thing.
Right.
So
he plays a lot of discard traps in his build too. Like
he has a good thing is he did draw all the fodder for it too.
He did, yeah.
But this is a lot of them. Like already three of them, which means he probably plays more than 3, I would assume.
I think he plays a Karma Cut as well.
Yeah, well, he definitely sided it in, if nothing else. Because I saw him Karma Cut somebody in a mirror match. Before he played you, he played the mirror match against someone else, and he Karma Cutted both their Treeborns away. And I just felt sad for the guy.
Yeah, I think I did that to somebody too. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if it was Ragnarok or not. I don't think it was though.
Oh,
yeah, there's dying.
God. Oh God, my stomach.
Yeah.
Oh God, it hurts.
Edit this part out.
Oh my God, this hurts. Oh man, that's so rough.
Joke's on him. He's not getting my trag though.
The Treeborn just comes back and attacks it. That's so disrespectful.
That was.
Oh God. Star Blast, Geki Break. Okay, I remember seeing this live, and he tries to go in, and you're like, absolutely fucking not. Like, you already got me for everything. Like,
yeah,
what are you?
You already got my whole hand. You're not drawing 4 cards.
Yeah, like get out of here, bro. Like, you're doing too much now. Show me potato salad. Yeah, get that shit out of here. Get that shit out of here. Oh God, that card is insane.
It really is. Yeah, that was a little unexpected.
Yeah.
When I was playing, I can see why he did it though.
Yeah, because he knows you're down and out, so he wants to end the game fast.
Yeah. Well, he drew Dust Shoot. That's
terrible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I dropped the gore. Yeah, I dropped the Gorse, but it's just gonna be a discard. He has both.
Yes.
Well, it might be a discard.
Yeah, he has Mirror Force, which just like cooks you here.
Yeah, I think I just scooped to it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you were even in that game after a Hino Kagosuchi attack was
it
actually,
it became a little bit of a game there.
This is another God card in a mirror match. Like, this card is insane in a mirror.
Yeah.
Just the Monarch that keeps on giving, it's really annoying.
Yeah.
So wait, what just happened? You did not send Treeborn to the grave there. You sent Swap Frog, and I know you have the Junk Synchron, but I'm just curious. I guess right now you don't really have a use for Treeborn in the grave. Is the thought?
Yeah, and I have the Fader too, so I'm thinking like yeah. I'll just get it there later.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Because like you don't have a conversion for Treeborn, to be honest. So
right,
just having a Treeborn in the grave right here is not exactly the best. I mean, what you could do is like bring back Treeborn, summon Swap, bounce the Treeborn, and use Karma Cut. But that's not. It's not you putting a monster in the field. It's just you using a discard trap.
Right, and like since he's playing the I should have probably just decided the creature swap out because he's playing all those spirits, but I'm just thinking I don't need the Treeborn for creature swap either against him because he's probably not going to leave anything on there.
You attack, you have the Mirror Force to be safe. Even if you had Gores, you're not exactly like the most worried.
Right.
So we got more discard traps, and he has the fodder again.
Yeah, he ends up chaining both here.
So
pretty good, but I was okay with this trade.
Like, yeah, I think that you're fine here because you still have 5 cards, and like you do have. What are you drawing? You're drawing. What did he make you top deck? Oh God, you tried to get in with this thing.
Yeah.
All right, you draw Dandelion. Yeah, Dandelion's amazing with the Karma Cut.
Yeah, I was actually citing the Karma Cut just to go with my mini techs. It's pretty good. Like, yeah. I think I do end up Karma Cutting him.
Yeah, I think it's about to. I think it's about to go down.
Yeah.
Yep. This is pretty good.
The slow death of Swap Frog just poking away.
Yeah, he's so low. Your deck is good at doing damage, actually. Because all the tuners. Yeah, like Junk Synchron make Android 24. Yeah, the Avarice. This is what I saw. I started looking at the card advantage. I was like, man, Chronic is down kind of bad. I said, not only is he losing in life points, but like actual cards are also just not in his favor at this current time. You have, if you count these, it's like 4 cards on the field, 6 in hand. It's just like so many. And more importantly than all of that, and then the discard trap is these are -1s, but then more importantly than all of that is the life points. Because like when you have this many cards and they have this few life points, you can just start throwing them at the person. You just like, I'm just gonna hit, if I just hit you with anything at this point, you're at 16, you will just lose the game.
Yeah, and I pretty much like both of his Treeborns banished. I knew any discard traps are just going to be more -1, so I'm just not worried about them at all.
And weirdly enough, there is an incentive to drop his life points the way you did, because this card requires 2,000 life points to make these guys like free usually. Maybe not this one. I think he can pay 15 for this one, but like the other ones, Light and Darkness Dragon and Hinokagu, those are 8-star monsters, which means you have to pay 500 times.
To pay 1,000.
Yeah, you have to pay a lot. So you have to pay a full 2,000 to summon those, and he doesn't have that. So dropping life points in this matchup was weirdly like a really good thing. But I think another cool thing is that Battle Fader was clutch because it stopped him from getting off the attack with this thing.
Yes, that was without a doubt the most important thing.
Yes,
because this duel's completely different if that goes through.
100%. So, all right, let's move on to the second replay. So this one was insane. This was a very long match, but it was very, 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 very good in my opinion. You get to see the power of Gale in this duel.
Yeah, this had to be match of the weekend.
Yeah, this is the most insane thing. This card is brutal.
I hate tributing dupe like that, but I felt like it was fine there just because I had the gores.
Yeah. I mean, once this resolves, the game just is like a completely different game. And this is a god card because at first I was like, oh, you're not in that bad of a spot. I didn't know your hand, but I was like, you know, it's going to take some time. Maybe you have like a Caius or something. Maybe he'll only bring back like one of the red meds. And then he just goes Call It a Haunted. And I was like, oh, well, that's bad. Like that's immediately just too much. So yeah, and then the Durango to make it for the gores is dead.
Yeah, that was not ideal.
Okay.
Old Estalos trying to go in there.
Yeah. You're not doing that bad for somebody who just had a Future Fusion resolved on them. It's just that you don't have access to Treeborn still.
Right.
And yeah, just too much.
I've seen enough. Yeah.
You have seen it. Exactly.
Now this is an all-for-all game. That was what we were talking about.
But I'd rather have it.
Yes.
Look at that. Thin the deck out, draw a Monarch. Oh, this is a good Unifrog. Oh, good Unifrog.
Very, very good.
Oh, that was insane.
And good Raizo. Like I'll take that that whole interaction
100%.
was good.
Yep, pop the dupe. Yep. Reestablish it. It's like it never even happened. Get back to Unifrog. This is some expert level frog shit right here. Once you start doing send my dupe frog to get back my Unifrog, you're dueling.
I know a thing or two.
He's about to resolve the most annoying card in the world again.
Of course. Future Fusion always just in time.
Yeah, but he has double red met already in the graveyard, so he's like, well, I'm just gonna do this. So this is a spot of all time. You need to draw some good cards now. That's one.
That's a good one.
That's one of them. Yeah, this is like, I'm gonna put you on a clock now. No more of this bullshit. I'm trying to win.
Yeah, this Unifrog though, my lord.
It won this entire game. You hit a Solemn, you hit a Future Fusion, you hit like multiple things this game. This card was a pulling the rug on this card. Yeah, it just went crazy. All right, now this was the game. This was a game of all time. I was watching this. I was like, there's no way James is winning this game. The way it starts off so fucking bad for you. Luckily, his hand is also like not the best. Looking at it now, I didn't obviously watching this live. I didn't know his hand.
We didn't know like live. I would have never guessed double red MD in the hand.
Yeah. This just gets in. The Reaper just does the most.
And he hit the out, one of the outs to the Reaper.
This was brutal.
Man.
This
that was not ideal at all.
No, this damn Call to Haunted has been the absolute MVP. And look at how many cards he has. Like 7 cards to your 4. You're about to lose one as well. Like this just, I was like, oh, this game's cooked. Like James is just absolutely cooked here.
Yeah. thought I was, but the deck's like, nah, don't give up. We still have Gale.
Gale just,
He's not gonna hit it. He's not gonna hit it.
Gale just did the fucking most. Watch this Gale, bro. This Gale is so insane. Oh my god, it takes 3 cards. Why did Gale just go crazy? Then he can't even. The crazy thing is like this kid. It can't even.
Yeah, this Gale is not done. He is not done. He's gonna make this Fossil Dyna die to future swap frogs. Like
yes, like it's so much.
Yeah, because that gets pulling the rug.
Yep. I was talking about this interaction with OG. I was like, the fact that it halves the Dyna that you attacked that just means that swap frogs beat it in the future.
Huge deal. Yeah, it's a huge deal.
Like this isn't intimidating anymore.
And it's shutting him off actually. Like he had to tribute it there.
Yes.
So he couldn't do debris.
Yeah. You're like, okay. He had to cut his losses.
Yeah.
Bounce. Oh, you
here's the old adverse. Yeah.
And you have the Karma Cut, Treeborn combo, Wombo. So I guess right here I would have bounced Treeborn Frog to go with the Karma Cut.
Yeah,
I think that's like one of the only.
Should have.
This game was intense though, so I'm not surprised. You're playing for your life right here.
Yeah, this is like match number 9 for me on the day with no breaks. By the
yes,
way.
Yeah, like this is a double elimination bracket. I totally get it. I was just a spectator in all of this, so everything you did, I was like, yep, this to me makes sense. All right, so. So I said this to OG. I was like, if James establishes a dupe block after they've dueled this long, I think it's going to be really, really difficult for Fitz to break through it, because those mid-game dupe blocks win me more games than the early game dupe blocks for obvious reasons. But like for people who might not be frog players, the reason is because in the beginning of the game, your opponent has the most amount of their resources, right? They still have their brain controls, all their Kai's, all their Raikos, all their other bullshit. And it's easier for them to break a dupe block in the beginning. But the games where you duel and it's been going for several turns and they've used several cards and you just out of nowhere just dupe block them, for some reason those just like stick way harder than any other dupe block.
It feels like cheating, honestly.
It does.
Like, and at this point in the game, I was certain he had like the last card in his hand before I passed that last turn was another red MD.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it has to be that at this point.
Yep. And he mirror forces this lone Unifrog here, which is very telling. It means that he doesn't have a D prison. Also, so this is one thing that I called this when it happened, but I think the next turn you could have done the thing you did last game where you like summon, swap, send dupe, get back Unifrog, and pop this, because you know that this isn't anything really because he just mirror forced.
Right.
He ends up drawing a D prison.
Yeah,
but it's crazy.
I think the reason why I went for the Caius was just I wanted the debris off the field,
right?
Just in like, because I was kind of wondering like why I wouldn't summon Red Med, but it makes sense. But I still just wanted that debris gone.
Yeah, because you're thinking that if you don't want to get Black Rose really. Like I feel like you want to keep, because your life points are low. We can't forget that your opponent's at basically 8,000, and you are one Drago attack from game, right? And nothing stops that. Like.
Yeah.
If he ever just does that to you, you lose the game. So I understand when your life is this low, you want this to stay around as long as possible, which is probably why you're like so honed in on the Debris Dragon. So I'm not like mad at it.
Yeah, and I had like if I didn't have a second Caius, it would have been probably a different choice. But I'm like, may as well. And here I end up doing it.
Yep. It's crazy because he didn't set the D prison last turn.
Yeah, that's interesting because I had to play last turn, but he didn't set the deep. Yeah, I'm just now seeing this.
Yeah, and it's the reason why it's interesting is because again he mirror forced the Unifrog the turn before, so I looked at that as, oh, you really want this back row to like. I mean, you would mirror force no matter what because you might as well, but like this upper back row doesn't stop this attack, because if it did, you would have used that before you used something like mirror force on Unifrog, right? So,
and he should know that I knew that and probably have set the deep prison in case I went for the Uni. Yeah,
and I also think, I mean, I don't know how much experience Fitz has against frogs or whatever, but you having double dupe substitute up and a swap frog in hand is kind of like, oh god, next turn he's gonna do this shit again, right? Like he can just literally do it again, and he would have lost his bottomless for free. And then the Caius these Caiuses that you have would have just landed like perfectly. Now this is where you get this gets scary, because he bottomless one Caius, and then this one just got pulling the rug off the top. So like when you go for Caius here, now you're all of a sudden out of, like, you had an abundance of Caiuses and now you just have none.
Right. But luckily, I still have this soft lock.
Correct.
That
and this
is just forever and ever giving.
Yeah, this actually just did way too much. And then this Colossal Fighter that never leaves the field. It's so good, and it's only because you play Plague Splitter that you can do this. I've never been able to do this. Like, it takes too many monsters to use Junk Synchron to make a Colossal Fighter, but this was just a simple 2-card investment, basically.
Right. And it's always after your Monarch gets value, too, so it's like there's no negging in the Plague, really.
This was really good. I wonder, okay, so now that we're here, I wonder if there was any merit. What happens if you rise at this? Does the monster die? This isn't the real one. But I assume that they always had this text that says, when this card is removed from the field, destroy the monster.
Sure.
Because I'm wondering if maybe it was better to make him redraw this card instead of like putting, I think you put the 5-headed back. But then at the same time, this being here stops the Gores from ever dropping. So it's like
that was my thinking, was leaving it was for Gores.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's actually very fair because he actually has Gores. And he can never, as long as this is here, he'll never drop it. And I don't think he plays Heavy Storm after game 1. Like there's no
way.
So I was scared here. I didn't know where, I thought he had game.
I was scared too because I didn't know where it was going, but
yeah.
Like, I mean, the soft lock is just forever blocking my life points are safe with this.
Yeah, he just wanted. So now when we watched this live, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, why would he just do that for no reason? But he was making sure that like maybe later. I guess it doesn't matter though. He has Solemn Set, so no. I was thinking he was freeing up his Gores, but like he's so low that Gores will never drop regardless now.
I think that whole play was just to put a monster on the field bigger than Colossal because. But obviously, that's not like a good in-game plan against Monarchs because that thing's gonna get removed at some point.
Yeah, it's just all he had. Like I don't think
it was just his best play. Yeah,
right. I don't think we're saying like Fitz played terribly here. It's just like
no, I'm not saying that at all. Yeah, we're just.
Yeah, it's just that like Colossal Fighter is such a problem for all Dragon decks. Like literally every Dragon deck has a problem with this card. I wonder if he sided in Lightning Vortex because I kept saying it. I was like,
that is a card I was scared to death of during this whole Duke block scenario. I was like, please don't have that.
Yeah, I was very afraid of like Lightning Vortex at any point would just be game.
Yeah.
God, your Kai'Sas just can't resolve in peace. They just can't resolve in peace.
They cannot. I think I was scared of Torrential still there too, I believe, which is why I was slow rolling it so hard. I don't think he had used Torrential.
Yeah, no, Torrential's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, so I was like, I had to be careful, but I eventually drew the Fader, and then I'm like, okay, I can get Torrential.
Yeah, yep, and this creature swap actually is one of the craziest cards because it allows you to have game in a situation where usually you just would not. Like you would have to go through all of this for a very long time in theory, but this just ended the game immediately, like on the spot. You're just like, no, there's no more tricks, like no more game. I'm just attacking you for game now. Also, this is another thing I was saying. I was like, yo, you gave him a Treeborn Frog that can't die in battle. So like, if you had more aggression, right, you could just absolutely OD.
Yeah, if I needed to do more damage, there could have been like obviously different routes.
Did you summon this turn? Like,
no, I didn't even normal, so I could have technically did like over 5,000.
Yeah, you could have done so much. Like, granted, you didn't need to. He's at 925 of all things, but if he was at like 4,000, you still won right here, basically, which is crazy. Like from Half-Life and 4 monsters on the field, I would never think that I'm about to die. You know what I mean? Like I would feel so safe, and then you're just like, you're actually not safe because that Treeborn can't die in battle, and it's in attack mode, and I'm just gonna run everything into it. And I think that is a reason that we might need to start looking at creature swap a little bit more often because
creature swap is really good. Like I said, I don't like multiples because when it's bad, it's really bad. But like just to have it in there as like basically like a power one of for situations like this, it's strong.
Yeah, I like your build. I don't know if you have a name for it, but I was calling it Utility Frogs because it just plays.
Let's go with it.
I like that.
Let's go with it.
It just has a lot of utility cards in it. It has Soul Exchange, Creature Swap, Pot Avarice, Gale, Plague Spreader, Dandy, Foolish, Want That Stalos, like the Trag. Yeah. It plays a lot of utility, and then obviously it plays the full suite of like the the monarchs that have removal effects on the field. But all of the rest of the cards are like these utility cards that work really well together as one-ofs. Like they're not gonna brick your hands usually because you just play like one copy of all of them.
Yeah, that I think that's a good name, and that is really what it does. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just kind
You
of
just have situations come up that like, oh, Gale, here, half a spirit for attack a fossil dyna. It just then he draws a fossil dyna. He can't even like summon it and do anything because there's a fucking Gale
I mean,
on
she
the field.
basically dealt with 2 fossil dynas.
She did.
Like forced him to tribute the second one. Like, hey, when your opponent's tributing a fossil dyna and you're playing frogs, you are happy with that.
Yo, I've never ever seen that before in my entire life. I've never seen them tribute a fossil dyna for any reason. So the fact that you just said that is a testament to how good Gale is in frogs. Yeah, I think that this card opening up synchro plays, this card being extender against Black Wings, it just does a lot. The half effect, like beating over Van.
Nothing else, like if nothing else, players should at least probably test siding it, like at least side it in against like the Vayu, the Black Wings, and decks where you expect Dyna, which could be Black Wings, of course, still.
Yeah, it actually, I mean, I get what people are going to say. Oh, it's a deck dev target and all that stuff. But like, man, they don't always have that.
They don't. And like, if you get deck dev'd, you get deck dev'd.
Yeah, if you get deck dev'd, you get deck dev'd. Hopefully you show a hand of Monarchs when you do. I've done that. I've got deck dev'd and it's like, I don't have anything but Monarchs. So you're about to get fucking rolled right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I guess ideally, like get deck dev'd and they only hit Dandelion, and you got 1-for-1, 1-for-1 Monarch, and you just dupe block them still.
Yeah, do the
That'd be hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna take this on the ladder real quick and just play a duel, and that'll be like the conclusion of this video. So let me download this deck real quick.
Let's do it.
All right. So we have the deck here, and yeah, we're just gonna go on ladder. Now I don't really play ladder except for videos, so I don't expect things to go well, because they never do for me when I try to do this, but it will make for interesting
it'll be
content.
like the 5 Monarch can.
Yes.
Just because.
Yeah, it'll be the most absurd thing. Like I'll draw the creature swap, the Pot of Avarice, and like everything everywhere all at once with no frog access or something crazy. Oh god.
Or we'll get the guy that doesn't pick. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, we got one of these. He's just not gonna do a thing. All right. All right, the hand's playable.
Okay, yeah. Sign me up for this hand, actually.
Yeah, like legit. Legit. Okay, swap. Yeah, I'm not setting Raigeki Break here.
No, yeah, I agree. Don't set it this early.
I have Battle Fader too, just in case he has like weird Reaper or some shit.
Right.
Interesting. All right, well, we are going to bring this back. Oh. Top of deck. Okay, so I'm going to reestablish my frog.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I am going to attack because I don't...
Yeah, I like attacking here.
All right. Okay. So here, what would you do?
So I am inclined to. I don't hate just like so. Yeah, we could either set the break, obviously, but I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I like going in phase and just pitching the plague. If I'm being honest with you.
Oh,
what do you think?
That's interesting. So like you want to bounce this? Okay. Yeah.
Because that's one of the reasons, like with the Dandy and Plague, like I said, hand size like this, they're good pitches. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I genuinely did not see that because I'm not used to having a full hand with Plague or playing this kind of deck. That's an interesting play there. All right, so stand by. I'm gonna bring this back just to have something. So he's not doing anything for obvious reasons. He's like, I'm not committing against frogs.
Right.
Which I get. People often do this. This is why this exact situation is why Hero Frogs is so goddamn good though, because if you do not commit, you get hit by like Stratos or Miracle Fuse. Like I'll special swap, discard Ocean, send a Dupe Frog or Swap Frog or a Substote to the graveyard, and just like Miracle Fusion you. And now all of a sudden, you need to play the game.
Right.
Like, you cannot be this passive against Hero Frogs.
Like these are the games where like if we had started with a junk, it would have been really good.
He would have been absolutely ruined.
So here we could, what do you think? I'm thinking we could, honestly, we could just pass.
Yeah, we could pass. There's also the bounce Treeborn to hand set Raigeki Break play.
Yeah, I wonder if he will commit anything. That's It's just a tricky
I'm gonna try
situation.
it. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
see what
let's do it. Yeah. This swap will kill him in 6 more turns if you. Okay.
All
give
right.
up.
Well, he literally said, "I don't want to play this game anymore," and honestly, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So he's playing a Titanial deck, which means that I am going to switch into I don't want to be targeting cards that much because again, he's playing a Titanial deck. So yeah, that's where my mind is right now in terms of the way I'm siding.
What's your thoughts on the water guy in this matchup?
That's what I was literally staring at him like I feel like it makes sense, right? Like it just has to.
It negates the Amaryllis forever, right?
Yeah, that seems really, really good.
And you don't take the burn? Like
Yeah.
right away, you just don't take the burn either. That's actually nice.
Yeah,
and
Crucial
it obviously
Fox
plays
games,
Raikou.
Yes, I like all of these things. I'm gonna take out an Econ.
Yeah, definitely take out an Econ. How many do we?
So we're putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need one more card.
Take out a Thestalos.
Yeah,
because usually it's like Amaryllis or Titanial sitting in hand.
Yeah, I would ideally like to rise at an Amaryllis thing.
Right.
I wonder if this is good in this matchup. Like I don't
think
know.
It is. Yeah, I don't know enough. Like I mean, I've obviously played it with like other decks, but
Yeah.
this deck you have the Monarch, so
I don't know if Crow or Soul Release are like I'm wondering about both of them, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I will say one thing. He didn't have much back row, but he could have just not drew them. So I was thinking, like, do we need? Yeah.
Do we need? I don't want to side this out just because if this is the Miracle Fertilizer
I was thinking
nonsense,
I was thinking of the Unifrog is what I was thinking.
We're up a game. Let's see if this works out.
Okay. Let's go for it.
I get what you're saying though. Unifrog is definitely like it targets anything like that. It's also a card that ideally you don't want to draw either.
Yeah.
Explicat.
But you know, like he could be playing a decent amount of back row. We saw a very small sample size of his deck.
Yeah, all we saw. I mean, we saw a very important part though. Like if he was going to scoop.
Yes. Yeah, he must have been like hoping for a trade in or something. That's what I would imagine. Okay, this hand's pretty decent.
Yeah, I like this hand. Okay, he's going to open up with Titanial. And we have Smashing Ground. I love that you side this Smashing Ground.
Telling you.
Okay. That is actually not that bad because we have Foolish Bird.
Yeah. Other than him getting to see everything, it's an acceptable dust shoot.
Yeah.
Which is very rare.
So he's going to put back Swap Frog, I assume. And then we can go Foolish Treeborn or Foolish Swap Frog and summon Junk Synchron. And like, who plays?
Yeah, we can alternatively, like.
It depends on what he does. Let's see what he does, but I think he's going to send back Swap.
He could be thinking about hitting the. I don't know. He's definitely thinking though.
Titanial's really good against his deck. I mean, not Titanial. Catastra's really good against his deck.
Yeah, he's still thinking.
I mean, his hand is complicated.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I guess that caught me off guard. That causes way more problems for him, I guess.
And that kind of makes me think the set could be pulling the rug.
Which
maybe?
I don't think we're that mad at if it is, right?
No, we're not. We're not.
Yeah.
So do you want to send a level 2 here then? I mean, you can just send Treeborn, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I think you send Treeborn first because you can send a level 2 when you need a level 2 with Foolish.
Yeah. Right, and like the Foolish could be a dandy if we.
Right. You're right. Let's see what this can become anything.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Okay, call. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, that's an annoying ass card too. Oof, that's this fucking monster. Okay. Let's see. So I don't think it's worth it to Foolish here. So yeah, we're just gonna pass like this.
Yeah, because we actually want to draw a level 2 just so we can next turn special the swap and then normal the junk possibly.
Yeah.
Just depending what he does
All
here.
right, well,
okay.
Catastra's coming down. If he so allows it. This is one of the matchups that is not fun. Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, hit an Armarillus. Not
And a
going
plant.
well.
Yeah, it's definitely not going well. We're getting non-gamed a bit here. That was a really good draw.
Okay, now that might be really, really good. Yeah. Well.
Okay, I think we're at the point we have to foolishly swap Frog and summon Junk Synchron. I think this is where we are.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, exactly. I think that this is just where we are in life. All right, to grave. Okay, so we do have like 6s, but I don't think any of them make sense here. Yeah, it's just Catastrophe, right?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on one second.
Oh wait.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
False alarm. It's just definitely Catastrophe.
Yeah. All right. Now we do have a Treeborn in defense mode, which is a little awkward. I'm not gonna lie. Just because there's an error, but we do have Mirror Force to check it, so like not
right.
The worst thing.
Yeah, I think it's they'll just attack Titanium.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, it went through.
Oh.
That's good.
Okay. Do I want to set Mirror Force here? Because I mean, I don't want to give him. Yeah, I actually have to set Mirror Force. I just remember what I'm playing against. This deck can just kill you. He just market a rose and fucking kill me. Like that's a real thing that can happen. So.
Yeah. He also has the DDR live too now.
Yeah. So.
Oh, speaking of.
Yeah,
but this is could be really good for us.
Yep. Make him sick.
No judgment, please. Man, he's trying to use Aaron. Get out of here. Okay. Now, as long as we don't burn to death this game somehow, we're okay.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah. He has a lot of plants too.
Yeah, yeah, like. Okay. If we could just get a Monarch, that would have been sweet.
Yeah, he is a lot. All right. Yeah, our life points are very low. Okay. I think I'm gonna summon Junk here and then bring back Swap.
Yeah.
I want to see what he does. Let's see. Do I want to use?
Are you thinking bouncing the Treeborn?
I don't think we should do that because we don't have another Treeborn in the grave.
Yeah, I think Brio here is decent, right?
Brio.
Is there any chance he set like a trade-in? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like cutting off that Armarillus, but...
You want to cut it off now? It also makes his future trade-ins live, though. That's another thing.
It does. I mean, it's a little high rolly, but like, so we can take 3 more... We can take 2 more of these only after if we kill this, like this turn. So what do you think? You think just attack?
Oh, God, it's actually rough.
Yeah, like we can only take 2 more. Like the third one, like he has enough plants engraved to burn us out right now. Is basically what I'm saying.
I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can attack him to make Thought Ruler for the next turn, or make Thought Ruler. No, that's not gonna work. I guess we can. Okay, I'm gonna Brio.
Yeah,
you want to Brio, right? Brio.
Yeah, let's. Just, yeah, I think Brio.
Yeah, let's just do it. I mean, yeah, I guess we're all right. What are we pitching? Because here we have a Soul Exchange and a Swap.
I like pitching the Swap.
All right, this is
the Soul Exchange could be really good with a sub.
Yeah.
Okay, so that went through. We could turn. Hold on, we could turn the
Catastrophe. All right. Well,
yeah,
we already committed. If we lose to Mirror Force, though, it's my fault. I was not playing around Mirror Force here. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm not. But like if that happens, because this isn't Mirror Force. This card right here is not Mirror Force.
Right.
So he would have had to just have drawn Mirror Force, which is like, okay, it's that fucking thing.
Scrap armor. Well, you played around that at least. Attacking with both.
Yeah, but I knew that because this has just been sitting here. When we made Catastrophe, like everything went through. This was here. This is not Mirror Force because he definitely Mirror Forced this card. So I was like, do I believe that he literally
I'm going
just drew
to be sick if that's a set trade in though. I will be so upset.
Yeah. That would be annoying. That would actually be very annoying. Oh my god, he ripped it. Oh my
god.
He fucking ripped it, bro. He fucking ripped it. Oh, we're getting market roast per game.
One of 32. But I mean, he plays through trade in. But oh, okay, this is good. This is actually really good. Okay, not as good anymore. But I mean, we're still on like just almost attack for game range here.
Yeah.
Because now we know both those sets are nothing, right? Like he would have torrentialed.
Yeah, they're nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, one's a scrap iron scarecrow, but yes, they are nothing. Wow. Talk about fucking
right after he soul release, like he rips trade in to draw the soul release. Oh my lord. That was an unfortunate swing. Well, I guess Pot's gonna be a Brio discard. Yeah,
I think we have to. Oh god, we'll be in the same situation.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to bounce both. We could just bounce the set.
Yeah.
Which I think we have to at least bounce the set.
Yeah, the set is the one that could be like Raikou or whatever.
Right. And Raikou like really slows us down from doing damage.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Do we?
I think we actually have to bounce it because he has Necro Guard now.
Yeah.
So he can stop both.
I think we just have to bounce it because we already committed to doing that.
Yeah, I think it's fine because.
And we just have to hope that he doesn't rip another trade in.
I'm telling you. But he goes down super low. Well, not super low, but mediocrely low.
I'm not gonna waste his time.
Yeah, there's no point. I thought he was gonna. Yeah. What? It was a set? He just got so happy he ripped it? What?
Right. Well, we lose. We lose because
why would
Bionic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why didn't he?
I don't know.
Is Amaryllis not live? Did he forgot?
He forgot. Well, now that has to be a Raikou, right? Like,
yeah. He just keeps setting Raikou.
So.
I'm just gonna feel so dumb by tributing my Catastor.
Yeah.
But I feel like I do want him to keep these cards because he's not doing anything with them.
Yeah.
So like maybe I'm playing into whatever he has, but I feel like if I go tribute, or maybe it's a fucking pulling the rug. Have we given him any opportunity to pulling the rug? We have, right?
Well, that's a new one now because he used the trade in that was set, so that could be anything.
So it could be like pulling the rug because this is Swift, whatever.
Right.
That new one could. I mean, now I'm psyching myself out, just saying like, oh, it's the worst case scenario. But I don't know if we can keep this Catastor in this situation. I mean, we could just pitch and bounce this, but then he keeps seeing new cards. The closer he gets to the steel card, we lose.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna do this. I think I have to go do this.
Yeah. I think so too. Like we're down pretty bad here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we just have to do this. Yeah, whatever. Let me just anal about that type of thing. Top of deck, okay. Yeah, so okay.
I wonder if he's forgetting about the Necro or if he's saving it.
I assume saving it at this point.
Yeah, I guess he's fine. He's not in Caius range, so.
Yeah, he also the Amaryllis he forgot last turn blatantly. Like there's no way around. Okay,
yeah,
he's just
and this turn. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
all right.
There's no way we win this game.
No, it's not. I think that he's trolling us. He trolled. He trolled.
He must have. There's no way.
He absolutely trolled. What did he just? He just clicked something?
There you see it, folks. deck is so good, the opponent will misplay because all the utility is too much for them.
What just happened, bro? First of all, game 1, he just didn't do. Okay, well, his hand is absolutely.
I was already mentally in game 3. I was thinking about what we're gonna side for game 3.
Me too. I was there. I was right there with you. Also, I do think Soul Release is good against this after seeing how that game just played out.
Yes.
It actually just checks that entire problem that we were having with Necrogardna and the plants and the Amaryllis. It just checks all of that shit. Like, get all of it.
Game, yeah, it would have made that game way more manageable.
Yeah.
For us.
Oh, he's just super bricked, which is, I guess, the problem with this deck is that it is a bit of a bricky mess sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fair. Yeah, that was a fair concession.
Yes, you're not beating frogs like that. This hand is cracked.
Yeah, this hand was so good. Yeah,
this was so good. The Lone Fires with the call and the Dust. First of all, Dust Shoot with Lone Fire is already like that's half the battle.
And it makes sense. Like, I'm still not sure hitting Vanity's Fiend was correct, but I see why he did, just because he had the call.
Yeah, and I think he was afraid that if that card ever resolves, like if Vanity's ever comes down, he knows that like I currently don't have an out, right? Like I just don't have an out. So like worst case scenario is this fucker finds a way to stick that Vanity's Fiend. I just lose the game.
Yep. See, he set the trade in. That's so wild to me. That seems so greedy there, because like a Heavy Storm just
cooks you, right? You get cooked.
Yeah.
You get absolutely fucking cooked by a Heavy Storm right here. For no reason too. Like you didn't have to do this to yourself.
There's absolutely no reason, because you can't get MST'd anyways. You have Titanium. Like,
this is why I always say I'm worse against worse players. Like because you can't read that.
Yeah, you're trying to play like as if like they're playing correctly, and it never be that way.
Yeah, this is so unhinged to me in hindsight. Also, he's gonna rip a trade in and plade the one that he ripped instead of playing the one he had set.
That's what surprised me about it, because I'm like, yeah, he must have got so excited because he drew it that he didn't even play the correct trade in.
Like he just stays vulnerable to Heavy Storm for no fucking reason at all.
Although if he would have played the set trade in, he would have just set the other trade in.
Yeah, well, at least it would have kept us guessing. Like, all right, well, the last one wasn't real. Maybe the new one is. I started thinking he had pulling a rug.
And drew the Soul Release, and then we top decked the Avarice. That was some events right there.
That was some events. That was some Yu-Gi-Oh for you. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, it wasn't a Raikou. I don't know why he just stopped summoning Amaryllis back. Okay, well, he just straight up dead drew off of that trade in.
Yeah.
But he just stopped. Like, he has plants left. I don't get it.
Yeah, especially because he's setting the monster, so it's not like he's playing around the Ryza, because he's... Yeah, I don't know. He definitely forgot about his Necrogardna, though. That is just factual.
He forgot about Necrogardna. He also just forgot about Amaryllis. He forgot about a lot of things. All right, well, that's that. We just recorded for well over an hour. I hope you guys did enjoy this. James, as always, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Your deck is awesome. Utility Frogs. I'm going to actually go back to this so people can get one final look at it. But yeah, 8-2 record in RBET, 10th place. Really, really, really good showing. Like I said, that's a topping record in a YCS. So
yeah, and just real quick, I want to shout out if anybody makes it to the end of this video, I want to shout out my boy Sket Brock, and I want to shout out ENT Collectibles free Super Bottomless tournament coming up the weekend after this weekend. So try to get in that server. Anybody out there that wants to play for a free super rare bottomless trap bolt.
All right, that is legit, guys. Don't forget ENT Collectibles. They have a Discord server, and you can play a free tournament where the first place prize is a CP bottomless trap hole, which is actually hundreds of dollars, by the way. And there are other prizes as well. So check that out for sure. But as I always say, guys, do the things that make you happy, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.